A cricket fast bowler who fought through career-ending injuries just built a business empire that shocked everyone. Stay until the end to discover his secret business strategy that changed everything. You think you know Jerome Taylor's story, but you're about to learn something that will completely change how you see this West Indies cricket legend. Most people remember him as the fast bowler who could swing the ball like magic, the man who took over 100 wickets for the West Indies in both tests and one-day matches. But here's what nobody talks about. What happened after the cricket boots came off. The real story isn't just about his bowling figures or his comeback attempts. It's about how a man who spent years battling injuries on the cricket field used those same fighting skills to build something much bigger than cricket. This isn't another typical sports retirement story. This is about transformation, strategy, and building wealth in ways that will blow your mind. Jerome Taylor wasn't born into wealth. Growing up in Jamaica, cricket was his ticket out, his chance to make something of himself. The neighborhoods where he learned to play weren't fancy cricket grounds with perfect pitches. These were rough areas where kids made cricket balls from rolled-up tape and used broken pieces of wood as bats. Every day after school, Taylor would practice for hours, dreaming of wearing the West Indies jersey that his heroes had worn before him. His family didn't have money for proper equipment, but they had something more valuable. They believed in him completely. His mother worked multiple jobs just to support his cricket dreams, often going without things she needed so Taylor could have proper boots or get to tournaments. When he first walked onto the field for Jamaica in domestic cricket, nobody expected much. Cricket in Jamaica is tough. There are hundreds of talented fast bowlers, all fighting for the same few spots on the national team. Taylor had played just one domestic one-day match when suddenly he got the call that would change his life forever. The West Indies needed him for an ODI against Sri Lanka in 2003. Picture this, a young man from Jamaica, barely known in domestic cricket, suddenly wearing the maroon cap that legends like Malcolm Marshall and Curtly Ambrose had worn before him. The pressure was enormous. One bad performance could end his international career before it even started. On his debut, he didn't just participate, he dominated, taking 2 wickets for just 39 runs and showing fielding skills that made everyone take notice. The cricket world suddenly had a new name to remember. Taylor looked like he was destined for greatness, and everyone expected a long, successful international career. But cricket, like life, rarely goes according to plan. What happened next would test Taylor in ways that pure talent couldn't prepare him for. Here's where the story gets interesting, and it's something that shapes everything that came after. Taylor's cricket career was never smooth sailing. While other bowlers enjoyed steady runs in the team, Taylor faced something much harder: constant injuries that kept pulling him away from the game he loved. These weren't minor niggles that players pushed through. These were serious injuries that required months of rehabilitation, surgery, and uncertainty about whether he would ever play again. Imagine being at the peak of your physical abilities, knowing you can bowl fast enough to trouble the world's best batsman, but your body keeps betraying you. This wasn't just about missing a few matches. These were career-defining setbacks that would have broken most people. Fast bowlers are like race cars. They're built for speed and power, but they break down more often than other players. The stress of bowling at over 140 kilometers per hour puts incredible strain on the human body. Knees, ankles, backs, shoulders, everything takes a beating. For Taylor, it seemed like every time he got back to full fitness and started taking wickets regularly, another injury would strike. The cricket world saw Taylor as injury-prone, unreliable, someone who couldn't stay fit long enough to build a consistent career. Selectors became hesitant to pick him for important series because they couldn't count on him to stay healthy. What they didn't see was how each injury, each setback, was teaching him something valuable about resilience, about finding new ways to succeed when your original plan doesn't work. While he was sitting out of cricket, nursing another injury, his mind was working differently than other players. Most injured cricketers spend their recovery time watching cricket, getting frustrated about not playing, and counting down days until they can return. Taylor was different. He wasn't just thinking about when he could return to bowling. He was thinking about what comes next, what happens when cricket ends. Those long months in rehabilitation gave him something other players never get: time to think deeply about life beyond the game. During one particularly long injury layoff, Taylor started reading business books. Not because anyone told him to, but because he was curious about how successful people in other fields built their wealth. He read about entrepreneurs who started with nothing and built empires. He studied investment strategies, learned about real estate, and began understanding how money really works. While his teammates were partying or relaxing between matches, Taylor was educating himself about business. He realized that cricket careers are short, but business empires can last forever. Most cricketers, especially fast bowlers, retire and struggle to find their next chapter. They've spent their entire adult lives focused on one skill: bowling a leather ball at high speed. When that skill is no longer needed, they often find themselves lost, unsure how to apply their talents to the regular world. They take jobs in cricket commentary, coaching, or sports administration, but these rarely pay as well as playing cricket did. Some open restaurants or cricket academies, but many of these businesses fail because being a good cricketer doesn't automatically make you a good businessman. But Taylor was different. Every injury timeout had given him something other players didn't have: time to think, time to observe, time to plan for a life beyond cricket. He was studying business while others were only studying batting averages. He started making small investments with his cricket earnings, testing his business instincts on a small scale. Some investments failed, but he learned from each failure. He began to see patterns in markets, understand timing, and develop an intuition for good business opportunities. The turning point came in 2016. Taylor was part of the West Indies team that won the T20 World Cup, one of the highest points of his career. The victory was sweet after years of West Indies cricket struggling. The team had been written off by most experts, but they fought through the tournament with incredible determination and skill. Taylor had achieved what many cricketers only dream of: winning a World Cup. The celebrations lasted for weeks, with parades in Caribbean islands and recognition from governments. It should have been the perfect ending to his cricket story. But even in that moment of triumph, Taylor was already thinking ahead. He knew his body wouldn't last forever, and he had seen too many former cricketers struggle financially after retirement. The average cricket career lasts about 10 years, but life after cricket lasts 50 years or more. He made a decision that would surprise everyone. He would use cricket as a launching pad, not as an ending point. The World Cup victory had raised his profile globally, and Taylor was smart enough to recognize this as a business opportunity. While his teammates were celebrating their World Cup victory and enjoying their hero status, Taylor was quietly laying the groundwork for something much bigger. He wasn't just planning to retire comfortably on his cricket earnings. He was planning to multiply those earnings into something that would last generations. The injuries that everyone saw as weaknesses had actually been his greatest teachers. They had taught him patience, strategic thinking, and most importantly, they had forced him to develop skills beyond cricket. Every setback had made him more determined to succeed in ways that didn't depend on his physical fitness. In 2017, something interesting happened that confused the cricket world. Taylor announced he was coming out of retirement, making himself available for selection in all formats of cricket again. He was 34 years old, an age when most fast bowlers are winding down their careers. The cricket world saw this as a veteran trying to squeeze a few more years out of his career, maybe earn some extra money before finally hanging up his boots. Sports journalists wrote articles about whether older players should make comebacks, and fans debated whether Taylor still had what it takes to bowl at international level. But people close to Taylor knew better. This wasn't about extending his cricket career for sentimental reasons. This was about positioning himself perfectly for his business launch. He needed the profile, the connections, and the financial backing that active cricket would provide for his real plan. Being an active cricketer opened doors that ex-cricketers couldn't access. Sponsors, business contacts, and investment opportunities that were available to current players would disappear once he officially retired. Taylor was thinking like a chess master, planning several moves ahead. Here's what makes Taylor's story different from every other cricketer turned businessman. Most players wait until they retire completely before thinking about business. They start from zero, with no active sports profile to leverage, no current income from cricket, and often no real business education. They're starting a new career, in their 30s or 40s, competing against people who have been in business their entire adult lives. It's like learning to bat when you're already facing fast bowling. You're behind from the start. Taylor was smarter. He was building his business empire while still playing, using his cricket fame as fuel for his entrepreneurial fire. Every match he played, every interview he gave, every connection he made in the cricket world was carefully channeled into his business strategy. He wasn't just playing cricket, he was building a network, establishing credibility, and creating opportunities for his business ventures. The cricket field became his office, and every game was a networking event. The business world had never seen anything like what Taylor was planning. He wasn't going for the obvious choices that most cricketers make: restaurants, cricket academies, or sports equipment stores. These are safe choices, but they're also crowded markets with limited growth potential. Taylor had studied the market and identified gaps that nobody else was seeing. He realized that his unique position as an international cricketer gave him access to markets and opportunities that regular businessmen could never reach. His injury-forced breaks from cricket had given him time to study global business trends while his competitors were busy playing matches. Taylor started with real estate, but not ordinary real estate. He focused on properties in emerging markets, places where cricket was popular and his name carried weight. He used his cricket connections to identify opportunities before they became obvious to everyone else. When the West Indies played in different countries, Taylor wasn't just there to play cricket. He was scouting investment opportunities, meeting local business leaders, and understanding economic trends. Other players saw travel as a burden, but Taylor saw it as free market research. His first major business win came from an unexpected source: tourism. Taylor realized that cricket fans from around the world would pay premium prices to train with a World Cup winner. But instead of opening a traditional cricket academy, he created luxury cricket experiences. Wealthy cricket fans could come to Jamaica, train with Taylor and other former West Indies stars, stay in beautiful resorts, and live like professional cricketers for a week. The profit margins were incredible because Taylor was selling dreams, not just cricket lessons. What happened? Next shocked everyone, including his former teammates. Taylor's business ventures started succeeding at a rate that nobody expected. The tourism business led to opportunities in hospitality, then real estate development, then international investments. Within just a few years of serious business focus, his earnings from business had not only matched his cricket earnings, but had completely overtaken them. The man who was once known for his injury struggles was now being talked about in business circles for his incredible success rate with investments and ventures. But here's the part that will really surprise you. Taylor's biggest business wins came from applying cricket lessons to business situations. All those years of dealing with pressure, of performing under intense scrutiny, of bouncing back from failures, had given him a business mindset that MBA programs can't teach. When business deals went wrong, he didn't panic. He had faced hostile crowds and aggressive batsmen who wanted to destroy him. When investments looked risky, he didn't back down. He had bowled to the world's best batsmen when his career was on the line. The cricket injuries that everyone thought were career killers had actually been career makers in disguise. They had forced Taylor to develop mental toughness, strategic patience, and most importantly, they had taught him that success isn't about avoiding failure. It's about how quickly you recover from setbacks. In cricket, every bowler gets hit for boundaries sometimes. The great bowlers don't let it affect their next delivery. In business, this translated into an ability to make bold moves when others were scared and to stay calm when deals were falling. Taylor's business portfolio grew beyond what anyone imagined possible. While his former cricket teammates were doing commentary or coaching for modest salaries, Taylor was building an empire that spanned multiple industries and countries. He didn't just invest money randomly. He used the same analytical approach that had made him successful at reading batsmen's weaknesses. He studied market trends like he used to study video footage of batsmen. He identified business opportunities like he used to spot gaps in a batsman's technique. He struck with investments like he used to hit the stumps, precisely and at exactly the right moment. The transformation was so complete that people who knew him only from cricket couldn't believe it was the same person. The quiet, injury-prone bowler had become a business powerhouse who was making moves that impressed even seasoned entrepreneurs. His success wasn't just about making money. It was about proving that athletes can transition into any field if they apply their competitive mindset correctly. Taylor had taken everything that made him good at cricket and applied it to business with incredible results. What makes Taylor's story even more impressive is how he maintained his humility throughout this business success. Unlike many wealthy individuals who flaunt their success on social media or live extravagant public lifestyles, Taylor remained grounded, remembering where he came from and how hard the journey had been. He started using his business success to give back to cricket in Jamaica, supporting young players and improving facilities. But he did it quietly, without seeking publicity or recognition. He understood that real wealth isn't about showing off. It's about creating lasting impact. The numbers behind Taylor's business success are staggering when you consider where he started. From a cricket career that was constantly interrupted by injuries and never reached its full potential in terms of international recognition, he built a business empire that provides security not just for him, but for future generations of his family. His annual business income now exceeds what many current international cricketers make from their entire cricket careers combined. But more than the money, it's the respect he has earned in business circles that truly shows how completely he transformed himself. Today, Jerome Taylor represents something unique, proof that athletic careers don't have to end when playing careers end. His story shows that the same qualities that make great athletes, dedication, perseverance, strategic thinking, and the ability to perform under pressure, are exactly what makes successful entrepreneurs. The injuries that could have ended his story instead became the foundation for his greatest chapter. Every setback had been preparing him for this bigger success that nobody saw coming. The business world now seeks Taylor's advice on everything from investment strategies to leadership development. Companies want to understand how he made such a successful transition from sports to business in such a short time. Universities invite him to speak about entrepreneurship and resilience. He has become a case study in business schools across the Caribbean and beyond, proof that with the right mindset, anyone can reinvent themselves completely. If this incredible transformation story inspired you, share it with someone who needs to hear that setbacks can become comebacks. And don't forget to subscribe for more untold success stories that will change how you think about turning obstacles into opportunities.